Picture an America where you're forced to pick: fill your car's gas tank or put food on the table for your family. Imagine delivery trucks stranded, grocery shelves empty, and gas prices changing faster than you can blink. As pipelines shut down, oil exports dry up, and unprofitable wells close, the nation feels the squeeze. When oil stops flowing, it's not just cars, it's food, electricity, even hospitals that grind to a halt. You'll be shocked to see which big names crumble first. Curious? Watch the full video on Discover USA to uncover the truth. Like, subscribe, and comment to join the conversation and stay informed. Number 10. New Mexico. New Mexico doesn't have big financial hubs like Wall Street or tech centers like Silicon Valley, nor does it have huge cities with millions of people. Instead, the state has relied heavily on oil and gas to keep its economy running. Almost half of New Mexico's budget comes from taxes on oil and gas, especially from the Permian Basin, which was once called the state's money machine. But now, that machine is breaking down. Oil prices have crashed, production has slowed, and the money has dried up quickly. This has led to painful cuts in healthcare, school closures, and the end of community programs that many relied on. In poorer areas, especially indigenous communities, people are hit hard, losing jobs and vital services. Towns like Los Lunas, Hobbs, and Roswell, once thriving because of oil, are now struggling, with families forced to choose between buying medicine or paying bills. New Mexico bet big on oil, but when the oil stops, the dream of a stable budget turns into a nightmare. This isn't just about high gas prices anymore. It's the start of a new economic reality where places too dependent on oil face the biggest challenges first. Number 9. Pennsylvania. Often called the industrial core of the Northeast, has always depended on affordable energy to power its factories. Industries like steel, chemicals, cement, and plastics rely heavily on natural gas and oil to keep running smoothly. However, when energy supplies dwindled, fuel prices skyrocketed, and strict allocation rules kicked in, the state's industries started to crumble. In Pittsburgh, dozens of steel mills shut down, leaving thousands of engineers, factory workers, and contractors without jobs for an uncertain future. Chemical plants along the Delaware River are now operating at less than a third of their normal capacity. The ripple effect has hit the entire Northeast supply chain, from Philadelphia's busy docks to the region's freight railroads, all slowed by soaring costs and fuel shortages. Once a proud symbol of America's industrial strength, Pennsylvania now faces a shaky future. Without quick action, the whole eastern industrial region risks a long, painful slowdown. Number 8. Colorado. Once a shining star in America's fracking boom, Colorado's energy sector has faced a dramatic shift. Advanced hydraulic fracturing technology turned the dry plains east of Denver into a bustling hub, attracting massive investments and creating thousands of jobs. In just a few years, oil and gas production soared, putting Colorado on the map as a key player in the nation's energy landscape. However, challenges soon emerged. Stricter environmental rules slowed down drilling permits, making it harder for companies to operate. At the same time, falling oil prices and rising costs to maintain shale wells hit the industry hard. Small businesses went bankrupt, and larger ones laid off workers. By early this year, over 8,000 fracking jobs vanished. Towns like Glay and Rifle now face tough times, with people moving away, schools cutting budgets, and local shops closing. Despite Colorado's vast potential, tight regulations and market pressures are stifling its once thriving shale oil industry, leaving communities struggling to adapt. Number 7. Wyoming. Wyoming often flies under the radar, a quiet state far from the hustle and bustle of big cities or industrial hubs. Its wide open spaces and small towns give it a peaceful charm, but that calm hides a deep struggle. The state leans heavily on oil, gas, and mineral industries, which make up nearly 60% of its budget. When the oil and gas crisis struck, Wyoming felt the blow hard. As oil prices crashed, companies pulled out, leaving abandoned wells and shattered local economies. Towns like Casper and Gillette, once thriving on energy wealth, faced collapsing home prices, underfunded schools, and shuttered rural hospitals. Families quietly packed up, seeking stability elsewhere. No headlines shouted about Wyoming's pain, and no major relief came. The state isn't crashing loudly, it's fading slowly, like a dying flame in an exhausted oil well, its vast lands silently bearing the weight of a fading future. Number 6. California. California isn't famous for oil production, but it uses more energy than any other state in the U.S. From the busy streets of Los Angeles to the tech hub of Silicon Valley and the vast farms of the Central Valley, fuel keeps everything running. However, when gas prices soared to $9 per gallon, the state's economy started to shake. The transportation sector was hit first. Trucks avoided California routes due to sky-high fuel costs. Farmers in the Central Valley, which grows nearly a third of America's fruits and vegetables, struggled to afford fuel, causing food production to drop. Delivery services like Amazon and grocery chains raised prices, cut routes, and delayed shipments. Many people in suburbs stopped driving, choosing bikes or even quitting jobs because commuting was too expensive. California, a global leader in innovation, faces a tough challenge. High gas prices are disrupting daily life and threatening its economic stability. Number 5, Alaska. A stunning land of vast wilderness and rich resources was once celebrated as America's oil jackpot. Today, it faces a wave of uncertainty. The state's primary income from oil and gas is shrinking fast. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline, which used to carry over 2 million barrels of oil daily, now runs at less than a quarter of that amount. With less oil flowing, maintenance costs are soaring, and the pipeline risks being shut down for good. This creates big challenges for Alaskans. Benefits like oil dividends, pensions, and winter relief programs are at risk of being cut. Infrastructure projects are being delayed, fuel prices are climbing, with some remote communities paying 5 times the national average to heat their homes. As Alaska's brutal Arctic winter looms, with freezing ice, fierce blizzards, and endless darkness, every drop of oil is critical for survival. Despite its wealth of resources, Alaska's harsh environment is now a growing threat, making life tougher for its people. Number 4, Oklahoma. Oklahoma used to be a shining star in America's shale boom, transforming from a quiet farming state into a bustling hub for oil and gas drilling. Cities like Tulsa and Oklahoma City thrived as energy companies flocked in, creating thousands of jobs, boosting investments and fueling a wave of prosperity. New businesses opened, homes were built, and the economy soared. But then, like a sudden storm, everything changed. Oil prices crashed, borrowing costs spiked, and money dried up. In just 6 months, over 12,000 workers in Tulsa and Oklahoma City lost their jobs. The once booming real estate market stalled, leaving office buildings and homes empty. The state's budget, heavily reliant on oil and gas taxes, faced a massive shortfall. Families struggled, and for the first time in years, many left their hometowns in search of new opportunities. Oklahoma's dream of endless growth was hit hard, leaving communities to rebuild and adapt. Number 3, North Dakota. North Dakota was once a shining star of America's shale oil boom, pumping over 1.2 million barrels daily from the Bakken Shale Formation alone. Towns like Williston and Dickinson thrived with busy oil fields, packed hotels, and growing businesses. But now, that dream is fading fast. Falling oil prices, down to around $40 per barrel in 2025, and rising drilling costs have forced over 500 wells to shut down for good. Companies are going bankrupt, leaving rusty equipment behind. Once lively towns now have empty homes, closed shops, and for sale signs everywhere. The state's budget, with over 50% tied to oil and gas, faces a massive $1.5 billion deficit. Schools, healthcare, and social programs are losing funding. North Dakota's story shows the risks of depending too much on oil, a resource that can vanish quickly. Number 2, Louisiana. Once the heart of America's energy industry, is now facing a quiet crisis. The massive oil refineries along the Mississippi River, which used to hum with activity, stand still like giant silent monuments. With no crude oil left to process, oil tankers no longer dock at the ports, and storage tanks sit empty. The Port of New Orleans, a key hub for oil and gas exports, has ground to a halt, disrupting the entire supply chain. This includes rail transport, logistics, and technical services that once kept the industry alive. Cities like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles, previously thriving with oil wealth, now face rising unemployment, with over 10,000 workers laid off without pay in 2024 alone. Seaports, once buzzing around the clock, are eerily silent. Oil isn't just a business in Louisiana, it's the state's economic lifeline, supporting 20% of its budget and millions of livelihoods. Without it, Louisiana struggles to recover. Number 1, Texas. The land of black gold has long been the heartbeat of America's oil industry, pumping wealth from the sprawling Permian Basin to the bustling streets of Houston. But today, a chilling silence hangs over the Lone Star State. Global oil supplies are drying up, international allies are signing new deals elsewhere, and the U.S. government is slashing export limits to shield domestic markets. The result? A devastating blow to Texas. Once thriving oil wells worth millions now stand abandoned. Refineries sit idle, and tankers are docked indefinitely. The human toll is staggering. Over 60,000 energy workers lost their jobs in just the first 3 months of 2025. Cities like Midland, Odessa, and Corpus Christi are bleeding residents, echoing the grim days of the Great Depression. Texas isn't just oil, it's the backbone of America's energy ecosystem, from petrochemicals to global exports. When Texas stumbles, the entire U.S. economy feels the shockwaves. Can it recover?